The coffee is black in the shadow of the penguin. And the robot is kicking up a storm, and I'd like to welcome you to the Tuesday, July 15th edition of ModelingBlogDaily, where Bill just kind of rants. And today I'm going to rant on the penguin. I've been working on a kit. I started it yesterday. Lego Batman 7783, the Batcave, the Penguin, and Mr. Freeze's Invasion. 1,075 pieces, an immense set. Yesterday I did the Penguin and his sub, and there's a little army of penguins with their pistol-packing paws. And today I'm going to show you this this contraption of Mr. Freeze's and give you some background information. Later on I'm going to do the jet, the bat boat, and then I'll probably end up doing the cave in one go, and then I'll have a battle at the end. We'll see. I've been reading my comic books. I don't know if you realize it or not, but I'm not just a regular old modeler. I do investigative work and study and do background material investigation on the models I'm building. When I built the Indiana Jones series of kits from Lego, I went out and bought all the Indiana Jones novelizations of their movies, and I read them. I read them all. And that gave me the background I needed to have a fresh idea in my mind of what I was doing. Well, the same holds true for this Batman series I'm doing. I got the four books of Batman in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s, and in the 70s, and I've been reading through these. They're comic books, guys. You say an adult reads comic books, you're darn tootin'. I love my comic books. I read them all the time. They're a lot of fun. Keep me in a happy mood. Well, the cover for the first Mr. Freeze, back then, he was called Mr. Zero. And see, he's squirting ice on Batman and Robin. And now I'll have the most valuable live trophies in the world. Batman and Robin frozen in blocks of ice. I mean, they came up with the most wonderful wonderful selection of characters you ever did imagine. I love these. They're just kind of crazy character world. See, Mr. Freeze was a scientist, and he invented this this concoction that would freeze. You push one button, and it would make it hot, and then you push another button, and you make it cold. Here he's got old Alfred on a block of ice. Well, he screwed up, and he ended up to where he had to be cold all the time. So he has himself a lair in the mountains. And this particular comic was made in February of 1959, and it was the very, very first comic ever made of Mr. Freeze. But they called it Mr. Zero back then. Let me give you an idea how all these older characters worked. Sometimes they changed their name, guys. Sometimes they brought people back to life. I'll show you. For example, in the 60s, I've been reading, see, I'm working my way through the 60s. Adam West, in the 60s, they came up with a new Batman television series in black and white on this in the 60s. And, well, the problem is they killed off Alfred so, in the comics. So they had to bring Alfred back to life. So they made him a superhero, and then they brought him back to life, and then Alfred could be part of the gang. But that's the original Batman right there with Adam West. He was the guy that played him. So they have a tendency to flip and flop around. If they kill somebody off, they just bring him back to life. you know, that's just that's what they do. Anyhow, let me show you in here. This is Mr. Freeze. He had to be under ice, so they drove him around in this ice cream truck. And then he had this gun. Let me zoom in. See, look at his mask, just like he has today, and his backpack, and then see, he squirts it out of this gun. Well, there's two buttons. There's the button for hot and the button for cold. So they break it into this jewelry store, and then they squirt the hot on the safe, and then they squirt the cold, and it cracks the safe. See, crack? And then when old Batman and Robin start chasing after the ice cream truck on their skates, of course they're going to be chasing on skates. Old Mr. Freeze just freezes the road up, makes it all icy so that they can't skate anymore. Yeah, I love it. Anyhow, Mr. Freeze is sitting there in his mountain lair, they called it, with all his blocks of ice and his heaters for his pals. See, he was a scientist, and he invented this mixture for the ice stuff, but it screwed him up, and then he had to be permanently under ice. So that's why he's got to be, you know, on the ice all the time. Anyhow, he does all kinds of crazy things. He squirts ice on the police cars and freezes the engine blocks. If he's trapped on the roof of a hotel, he just squirts his ice down there, and see, he makes himself a little stairway of ice and just escapes, of course. And then one time he actually captured old Robin and Batman, and they were going to freeze forever. And of course they escaped, and old Mr. Freeze went to jail. Anyhow, these are a lot of fun. Let me show you this wonderful model. Lego has done this up very well, and I put Alfred in there. Poor old Alfred is on ice. It's a clear plastic with the. I've seen them use this before, but never quite like this. It's done very well. And so is Mr. Freeze. He's got a real class, compared to the comics, he's got a first class rig there with his hood. He looks just like in the comics, though, guys. Except he didn't have glasses in the comics. He's getting old. I have my fun, guys. I have my fun. I wish for you a very wonderful Tuesday ahead, and my robot and I say sayonara, friend, sayonara.